In your Edexcel Macbeth exam, you may be asked to write an answer on theme or character. So today I'm going to discuss 4 key themes: ambition, gender, the supernatural, and kingship. So firstly, ambition. Macbeth and Lady Macbeth commit their crimes due to their desire for power, their ambition. From this, we learn that ambition can lead people to lose their senses, therefore turning them corrupt. Macbeth, the protagonist of the play, is initially presented as a loyal and honourable soldier, but his ambition leads him down a dark path, resulting in his eventual downfall. His ambition can be seen as his hamartia, or tragic flaw, leading him to commit regicide and set off a chain of events that become uncontrollable. Now, Lady Macbeth shares her husband's ambition, but in an even more ruthless form. She pushes Macbeth to act on his desires and challenges his masculinity and his ambition. Her own ambition for power and status drives her to manipulate Macbeth into committing these murders. So, quotes to support the theme of ambition. You've got "Stars, hide your fires, let not light see my black and deep desires." This is spoken by Macbeth in Act 1, Scene 4, after King Duncan announces that his son Malcolm will be the heir. This line reflects Macbeth's internal conflict and his growing desire for power. But it also shows us his understanding that his desires are dark and immoral and do not go alongside the image of a loyal and noble thane. Now another quote: "Thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it." This is spoken by Lady Macbeth in Act 1, Scene 5. She's speaking to Macbeth after she reads the letter in which he tells her about the prophecies. She recognised that he has the ambition to be king, but she also can see that he lacks the ruthlessness in order to achieve his goal. And the last quote: "I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only my vaulting ambition." This is spoken by Macbeth in Act 1, Scene 7. In this soliloquy, Macbeth reflects on the reasons why he thinks he should or should not kill King Duncan. He's basically grappling with his own moral hesitations and the consequences of his ambitions. Shakespeare uses a metaphor here of riding, with the word spur suggesting something that motivates him or drives him to act. At this point in the play, he's still very uncertain. Next, we're going to look at gender. First of all, the key thing to remember is that this play is set in a patriarchal society, and Shakespeare was writing in a patriarchal society. He explores the theme of gender through the relationship between Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. Traditional gender roles are subverted in this play, as Lady Macbeth tries to control her husband and even manipulates him. She sees her feminine qualities as her disadvantage, basically an obstacle to her achieving her ambition. She even asks spirits to take away these feminine qualities so that she can become more like a man and therefore able to commit ruthless deeds. Lady Macbeth also emasculates Macbeth in several different ways, particularly through her manipulation, and she questions his courage. She plays on his insecurities and she pushes him to commit violent acts in order to prove himself as a man, and ultimately leads him down this dark and destructive path. Now, quotations linked with gender. Lady Macbeth says, "Unsex me here and fill me from the crown to the top full of direst cruelty." This is from Act 1, Scene 5, again when she's just read the letter from Macbeth. The phrase "unsex me" is a direct appeal to get rid of the qualities that she associates with her sex, such as compassion, nurturing, weakness. She views these as limiting things and things that are going to limit her to be able to be ruthless. She's asking the spirits to fill her entirely with cruelty, meaning that she wants to be completely and thoroughly infused with brutality. When you durst do it, then you're a man. Again said by Lady Macbeth in Act 1, Scene 7. She's manipulating Macbeth at this point, and she's accusing him of lacking the courage in order to go ahead with the murder. Her words reveal that she equates manhood with action, specifically violent and ambitious action. In her view, Macbeth is only really truly a man when he's willing to take bold decisions and bold steps in order to achieve his goals. She also says in Act 1, Scene 7, "Plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out." This horrific imagery that she uses is against the expected image of a mother at the time and of a woman, the stereotypical image. Therefore, she's defying the expected gender roles at the time. Okay, the supernatural. The play starts with this theme, which immediately shows us how important it is, and it sets an ominous mood. Remember that King James I was very interested in witchcraft and the supernatural. Therefore, Shakespeare shows how much he also values this theme by opening with it. Shakespeare wanted to appease James I, he wants his support, and basically he wants him to come and see the play. The characters of the witches are central to this theme and central to the play. They are not just fortune tellers, they embody the forces of chaos, manipulation and control. The supernatural theme is linked to fate. We should consider, is it the prophecies from the witches that lead Macbeth to his downfall, or would he still have gone through with these acts without hearing them? Banquo's ghost is another element of the supernatural in Act 3, Scene 4. The ghost's appearance marks a kind of turning point in Macbeth's psychological unravelling. Macbeth's inability to control his fear at this moment, symbolised by him seeing the ghost, intensifies this sense of doom and foreshadows his eventual downfall. The ghost highlights to us how Macbeth is not only tormented by his actions, but also by the supernatural consequences of those actions. So quotes linked with the supernatural. The witches in Act 1, Scene 1 say, "Fair is foul and foul is fair." Now this immediately shows us that things aren't quite what they seem. It suggests that what seems good, i.e. fair, is actually quite bad, foul, and what seems bad is actually quite good. This is called a paradox, and it sets the tone for the entire play, where the characters are constantly struggling with their perceptions and the differences between what appears to be true and what actually is true. The witches also say, "All hail Macbeth, thou shalt be king hereafter," in Act 1, Scene 3. This is part of the prophecy, and it's a really pivotal moment as it sets in motion Macbeth's ambitious journey. Then lastly, "Is this a dagger which I see before me?" spoken by Macbeth during his soliloquy in Act 2, Scene 1. In this moment, he's grappling with his internal conflict and his guilt. This supernatural hallucination is a product of his agitated mind, and it really represents the psychological struggle that he's going through. And lastly, kingship. Kingship, again, was another thing that King James I was very interested in. He believed in an absolute monarch, meaning that God had placed him on the throne. This was known as the divine right of kings. And this was a commonly held belief at the time, where monarchs had the authority and that was unchallengeable. Duncan embodies this idea of divine kingship and is therefore considered to be the rightful king. Now, unlike Macbeth, King Duncan is presented as a worthy and fair ruler. Macbeth is the direct opposite. By the end of the play, he is referred to as a tyrant, and as a result of his poor leadership, the country also goes into chaos and turmoil, therefore showing the audience that the consequences that the country would have to endure with an unfit and unworthy monarch. Again, remember that Shakespeare's purpose with the play is that he wants to appeal to King James I, and he wants to show the audience what happens to people who are unrightfully put on the throne, i.e. death. So quotes. Now said by Duncan to Banquo, to show his duty in the time of need and so live to be a noble man. This is from Act 1, Scene 4. Duncan here is praising Banquo for his loyalty, and he's reinforcing the idea that kingship is linked to loyalty, to honour, to selflessness. And a good king, in his view, is someone who is noble and dedicated to the welfare of the kingdom. I am in blood stepped in so far that should I wade no more, said by Macbeth in Act 3, Scene 4, when he's admitting that he realises his actions have gone so far beyond any kind of redemption that he can no longer turn back. His ambition has led him all the way to this point, and his reign is now built upon bloodshed and violence, not a legitimate rule. This reflects the theme because Macbeth's kingship is tainted, as it's acquired through unjust means and dishonourable actions. Now lastly, O nation miserable, with an untitled tyrant bloody sceptred. This is said by Malcolm in Act 4, Scene 3 towards the end of the play. He's speaking to Macduff, and he talks basically of the state of Scotland under Macbeth's rule. And this quote portrays the suffering that the nation are going through under Macbeth's rule. And it suggests that actually a true king is needed in order to restore order. Now, for my revision, I would now go back and listen to this video again and take notes. I'd then write down the key quotations and I put them onto revision cards. I'd add in a brief explanation, and this will help you to memorise them. If you have any questions, make sure you answer them in the comments, and please subscribe to look for more videos.